Hello again, internet friends. Welcome to another video of the channel. Just out for a walk in a park near the house with Emma. Careful not to trip. Sorry for the haggard look, although that's kind of my normal look these days. Got a bit of allergies this season, and not to mention it is about 5:30 in the morning. Such is life with two kids. Yeah, I just wanted to talk to you about today's video. We're going to do a video on garlic, how to plant it, when to plant it, how to harvest it, how to process it, how to preserve it, and yeah, generally all things garlic, which you should grow. Garlic is the best, and it is so easy to grow, and it's so good for you, and it makes everything taste better. Yeah, this is a super cool forest, super lucky to live, less than a kilometer away from it. It's one of the last stands of old growth Doug fir and western red cedar on the southern Vancouver Island. Yeah, I've been coming here since I was a kid. It's pretty remarkable. If you ever get a chance to visit Greater Victoria and the southern Vancouver Island, make sure to come here. It's John Dean Provincial Park. It used to be a municipal park, but the province took it over. Not sure why, about 10 years ago. Yeah, there's some pretty big trees here, well over a few hundred years old. It's I wouldn't even be able to guess at how tall they would be. Yeah, the size, this is a big leaf maple behind me. Not a big species of tree by any means, but it's climbing up to try and get some light in this forest among the giants. Yeah, and it in itself is probably 150, 175 feet tall. Yeah, I love coming to this place to think. It's sort of a zen place. Hopefully you guys too have some sort of area of respite that you can go to think, to clear your mind, to plan out your garden, take a step back from the everyday life, and yeah, get back to nature. Just even if it's just for a few minutes a day, it really helps. It yeah, changes your perspective. Yeah, here's one of the medium-sized guys of the forest. I try not to go. The big guys are off the trail. I try and stay on the trails. Try and minimize the impact on the forest. So when my kids grow up, they can come here and enjoy it too. So, but on the trails, there's still a couple of giants. But I just wanted to get a video of one of the at least the medium-sized ones for you guys to check out. Alright, so let's head out to one of the beds and harvest the last garlic bulb of the season. I usually try and harvest my bulbs, mid to late June, early July. Kind of depends on the weather. It'll depend on where you live on the planet too. But I like to get those garlic bulbs fresh and out of the soil so that I can use the beds to plant something else. So as you can see, this bed has been completely decimated. We got one last little garlic bulb here ready to come out. I harvest when these scapes, the garlic scapes, start turning brown. You can also eat the scapes. People love them. I love them, but I usually have so many that I don't need to harvest them all. But yeah, you generally want to pull your garlic out of the ground when the tops start turning brown. Don't do it before, it'll be too early. Okay, so instead of just yanking on the stalk, you want to brush away some of the soil, like so. Expose the bulb. And you might even want to get... Oh, this guy's going to come out easy. You can get sort of a trowel in there, or you could use a screwdriver. And this way, when you pull, you're not wrecking any of the bulbs. There we go. So here's my garlic bulb. Now, what you got to do is, you can eat them right away, but if you've got a lot and you want to store them, what you're going to want to do is you want to hang them in a cool, dry place. Outside preferably, because you can never beat the outside air for drying these things out and setting them up properly for long-term storage. Okay, here we go. So you can see the bulb in there with all of his little buddies. This is an Italian softneck variety. They all kind of harvest the same way, you know. Some take a little bit longer, some a bit shorter, but most garlic, even the elephant garlic, which isn't a true garlic, pretty much grows the same way. So yeah, I've just got them all tied together with a twist tie. I do them in bundles of 10, and then you just need to hang it. It would be perfect to hang it in this greenhouse, but I don't. I hang it in my shed. Need to hang it up for about 4 to 5 weeks, and then we get to the next step. All right, guys, so it's been about 5 weeks since I harvested all my garlic and hung them up here in the shed. As you can see, they've all, you know, dried out nicely. Yeah, they're looking great. No mold, no nothing. Easy stuff, you know, just hang them in bundles of 10, you know, pretty loose, pretty far apart. Make sure they're in an area with a lot of airflow. You won't have any problems at all. So now what you want to do, depending on what you're doing with your garlic, you know, if you're selling it, oftentimes I'll just cut them about here. Yeah, I find they sell better in the farm stand when they got a bit of a stalk on them. You know, for some reason people think it's more organic, or it looks like something you'd see like in a classic homestead, you know, like 4 or 5 garlics with, you know, like a 4-inch neck hanging in the pantry. But yeah, you know, with this much garlic, we got to kind of take it to the next step. If we're not selling it all, how are we going to use and save all of this? All right, guys, I've gone ahead and cut all my garlic. Here's an example of a head here. This particular head I'll put out for sale on the farm stand. I've cleaned it up as much as possible, down to 1 or 2 layers of the paper left. Cut the roots, you know, as close to the bulb as possible without damaging the bulb. So that's an example of a single bulb. And this would be, you know, a trio of bulbs that I'd sell. So, you know, I'd sell this guy for, I don't know, maybe $1.50, and then sell, you know, 3 for $4. And yeah, they absolutely sell like hotcakes. It's unbelievable. So those are the ones that we've dealt with for sale on the farm stand. Now let me show you what I do with the rest of the garlic so that we have garlic until next summer. Okay, so let's quickly go through the process of what I do to preserve my garlic so that I have garlic all the way till next summer without having to buy any. So you take your typical bulb here. Okay, peel all the crap off. What you want to do is get all your individual bulbs. Like that. Okay. So, now I would do this for probably, well, I've got over 300 bulbs to do. I'd probably do at least half of them. And what I do is you nip off the bottom like that. All right? And then you just go through. And if you let your garlic cure enough, you should be able to just peel them all off like so. Okay. That was a tough one. They're not usually that tough. So, there we go. Clove of garlic. Now, what a lot of people do is they'll grind that up and then put that in jars and then freeze it. Don't do that. What you do when you grind it up is you increase the surface area. When you increase the surface area, even if it's frozen, it can still oxidize more. and you lose all that flavor. And what's the point of growing garlic if you're not growing it for flavor? So I'll go ahead and do the rest of these bulbs, and then I'll show you what I do. Okay guys, it's got the last clove here to finish off this bucket. Actually, I did quite a few buckets when I went away there. Get this last one off. It just got into the zone and started peeling and peeling and peeling. I did about 8 buckets full. So, here we go. Put that one in there. Get the lid. There we go. Full thing of garlic. So as you can see, I've put mine in these 8-ounce deli containers. I just find that's the perfect size. I'm able to fit about 4 heads of garlic into this. So that works out perfectly. We know as a family we use 2 heads of garlic a week. So roughly 100 a year. So I know when I'm processing my garlic that I need to do about 25 of these containers, and then that's enough garlic to last me until next year's harvest. So once I hit that 25 mark, then I know the rest of the garlic can be used for sale. So because I harvest all my garlic at once, and it's all from the same year, I don't really need to label these, but I usually do go ahead and throw just the year on there, just in case there's an overlap. I don't think that there will be. There hasn't been, in the last 6 years, but just in case, then I know, okay, this is from 2018. Use this up first before I use up any of 2019's. And so one last thing with the freezing of these guys. We talked about freezing the whole bulbs. That's because we don't want the oxidization of ones that you've ground up. The other thing is people will tell you that you need to put these all on a cookie sheet and then freeze them individually and then put them in the containers, or they're going to stick together. And that's simply not true. That's true for berries, your strawberries, your blackberries, and your raspberries. Yes, you got to freeze them individually or they're going to stick together. These guys, no dice. They freeze individually and they just don't stick together. Even these guys are quite moist, they still won't stick together. I'll put these in overnight, go like that, and they're all completely separate. So whenever you need a head of garlic or 2 heads of garlic or whatever, 10 cloves, go in, grab what you need, put this back in the freezer, and you've got fresh garlic 365 days a year, completely organic, and it didn't cost you anything. So that's it for the video, guys. Now, I hope you found this little garlic demonstration at least a little bit interesting and somewhat informative. As I say, this is the way I've done my garlic, and it's worked for the better part of a decade. And we always have fresh garlic. It's amazing, and it's cheap, and garlic is so expensive in the stores. You guys should be growing this at home, and especially a lot of you people that leave your beds fallow over the winter. Why not have garlic growing? Why not have something growing in those beds over winter? It's a really good feeling to be producing vegetables year round, to know that parts of your property are always producing something for you and your family to eat. I mean, just look at these beauties. I'm already thinking of recipes of what to make. Anyway, I hope you guys love garlic as much as I do. And I'll see you next time. Come on.